What's good, y'all? We back here on the channel, Crank Central, here with another summer band reaction for the last battle week of the summer. We have two major battles that are going to be split into three. Sadly, we're not going to get into that last quadrant that happened in Mayhem in the Mecca for reasons that I'll explain probably in the stream. Check out the streams every week. But for today, we are here to get to the main event from this past weekend's Dark Carnival Mayhem in the Mecca between Memphis Mass Band and New Orleans All-Star Band. And without further ado, let's get straight into the shenanigans. All right, shout out to Brian. Oh, right into it. Okay. Shout out Brian Wells Productions for this, by the way. Full surround sound. Full surround sound. This just dropped too. Let me get my score sheet out. I'm not prepared. Come on, you foes. You gotta stick the end of that phrase. By the way, shout out to, I think his name is Carry On, former Craig Moss section leader, headed to Jackson. It's so impressive for him to be at the front of this behemoth of a, whoa, I heard that a little bit. This behemoth of a tuba section for like 2 to 3 years now as a high schooler. Following up their performance from last week really well with this, Really good timing with this. Alright, how do you sky in for this? Good and clear. I'm gonna get that 2.5. I think that's a stronger opening than they had last week, to be honest with you. I think it's a really strong opening that they had. All right, New Orleans. Ooh. With a good answer back. With a good answer back. And they talking immediately. Okay. I see how this is going. Shout out to the stream the other day. This is it. And rest in peace to Mr. Kerry Wilson. Yeah. I love that breakdown. Strong beat tones. Pulling up the brass. Okay, that also gets a 2.5, but I got some things to say. So it's been a few days since the battle, of course. Shout out to all the videographers that were there. But the thing that I want to talk about in terms of the music is that thing that I'm a lead before this battle, because if you watched last week's videos, you know that my favorite, not only coming into this battle, but also to be the winner of the summer is New Orleans. And it is because I think there's a consistent track, and I think that's probably the case throughout the culture, because there's a consistent track within the community over the past few years that, to be honest, the clearest upper brass is the king of the summer. When it comes to the way that a lot of songs are arranged, the way that a lot of personnel ends up filling out in these bands, things become very low brass dominant very easily, especially with a lot of rap songs being arranged, being single note, low tone melodies or whatnot. It gives the voicing to a lot of lower brass. And with how rap heavy a lot of repertoires have ended up over the past decade, it leans a lot towards that. But that means that if you can produce a bright enough sound and have that layering and that overtone mixed in with that established sound of rap tunes or even some R&B pieces, or especially in up-tempo pieces, you can really get the edge. And it's been consistent every single year coming out of COVID. 22 GAM, very clear upper brass and trumpet section, on top of course, their dominant UFOs and lower brass, really making a euphoric sound that they had. Of course, we can talk about Memphis in 23 all day, even GAM last year. And I think that is the case with New Orleans, and that is what is partially setting them over the top, which, don't get me wrong, Memphis has a very amazing and capable upper brass sections between their trumpets, of course highlighted by some of the dotted quarters that get written to their music. But even beyond that, even within phrases, even within song, their presence is very much felt, as well as their mellows. They've begun to write for their mellows, really getting into some creases and phrasing through a lot of melodies or counters over the past couple of seasons. I just want to say that keep that in mind for the rest of this battle, that most likely for me, as well as for a lot of you, the clarity of upper brass is going to be the X factor between a lot of these rounds. All right, but for right now, let's get back to Memphis. Round 2. I was surprised to hear this. Shout out to the pop playlist. Animals is one of the ones. Call and response. A little weak on that one run, ethos. Okay, that was alright. Call and response passage. That a really solid, really strong opening. This is a really cool song to play. Relatively underwhelming middle passage, I would say. Okay. That might dip into like a 1.5. Just because that was super underwhelming. But, I mean, execution was there and everything. 2. Alright, New Orleans. I want to say this is new for this week, because I remember saying that they was matching new for new. Good job staying together during that. Okay. I really like some of the ideas on here. I want to feel that energy a little bit more. Strong unison. Okay. That's more like a upper 2 to 2.5. I'm gonna still give it a 2 though. I'm gonna still give it a 2. Still tying it up. Strong opener. All right. Yeah, build up motif. In this audio, Memphis sounds a lot more UFO heavy than I initially thought. Shout out Sahan. I see my CB. Alright, nail this. I will say they running it back. Yeah, they run it back. Memphis sounds a lot. If you've watched my fall videos, Memphis sounds the way that they are writing and utilizing their sections and like overextending them or extending them to different parts, using them in certain situations within the song, either within a call and response, or putting them on a counter melody, or putting them on a bass chord, sustaining a bass chord, or starting a phrase. They sound a lot like Southern. Come on, Mellows. I'm giving that a 2.5 tentatively, because I still think it's strong. That Southern comparison isn't an indictment either. It's just a comparison. This is straight New Orleans. This in round one, straight New Orleans. Smash Mouth. Featuring some of the best balance that they've been able to achieve ever. I'm hearing I'm hearing New Orleans' trumpets way more prominently on phrases that they solo carry. Oh, they turning. You fools. They took that D all the way up. Oh my god. And they howling. They hitting it. They hitting it. Yeah, get back in spot. Get back in your spot. Keeping the energy consistent, clean phrasing, good. I already said good energy, and then creasing that on the back end. 3. Dr. Eggman theme. Solid starter run, solid starter run. Okay, trumpets. Good sustainment, upper brass. It's not the biggest thing in the world. Y'all know we don't do deductions. That's stupid, in my opinion. But mistakes do matter. They rebounded pretty quickly. Good leading mellows. look, that is going to get a 3 from me. 2.5. 2.5. That's gonna get a 2.5. When it comes to some pieces that I'm not even saying wholly depends on wow factor, because it's not. That's an amazing piece. It has some great energy, some very euphoric moments. But when it comes to a piece that in some way, shape, or form partially relies on the wow factor of wow, they played that, you get into a kind of tricky game when you play it twice. You know, some of the just like disbelief that you kind of get caught in. Even me, as someone who's not even there in person, who, you know, before I even record these, at least watch the battle one time before, it still loses some of that mysticism once you're like, oh yeah, this is the second time they played it now. It can still be great, you can still execute it, but some of the wow factor that, you know, no doubt goes into the game planning of what you're gonna arrange, what you're gonna select, what you're even gonna play this week, right? Because you have other songs to play. Some of that does go away your second time. Now, I'm taking off not just because I think that some of that falls by the wayside, because I don't even know if I gave it a 3 last time. I don't think so. Even if I did give it a 3, I'm not taking all the way off because of that. I'm not even taking all the way off because of the mistake. I'm taking off because some of them UFOs sound hollow. Are they woofing? Yes. Is it sitting on top of the band really well? Yes. But there's enough slippage in that section that is taking out some of the impact of like those really euphoric moments, especially after that that switch up, right? And Mellows was creasing and they were on it. Ooh, what? That and UFO's gotta be hidden. As a full section, you got to sit on that. You have to hit it on the head of the note, and that combined with the other things, I think is enough to not give it a 3. I honestly think that their performance of it is worthy of a 3. I remember my reaction when during the stream, I felt as though it hit a little bit less. I think it relatively hits the same, except for the things I pointed out. All right, on to New Orleans. I will say though, the worst thing you could do versus New Orleans when they on their shit is have a relatively obvious slip up, cause New Orleans just gonna do New Orleans. And this song is straight New Orleans. Some muddiness, Mellows in that run. The back half. UFOs. Some chips. Two and a half. It's New Orleans. It's up tempo. Definitely some chipping in there as well. A little bit of hollowness, but enough in their wheelhouse to still smash it like they do. Trumpet presence was definitely enough on that walk down, not for finishing that earlier phrase. Not for that part. Did somebody take that? I think Beto took that crazy up. Don't wobble, mellows. Ah, releases. Releases. If you gonna kiss off, kiss off. Don't wah. Don't wah to release. Drum break. Okay, into a chant. Cool. Yeah, Byron debate video. Damn, somebody hitting that, what's that, E flat? Yeah. Respect, 2.5. Something else that's just New Orleans. Just smash mouth, unrelentless. Trumpets are breaking through them. Trumpets are breaking through all of that. Oh my God. Dog, just the wall of pressure that they got on that, and just the constant just movement, just building layers of clarity on top of one another, peeking out just to say hello during this phrase and to answer back right here and to lead this phrase in isolation, mind you. Just sustain trumpets. First chord was just weak trump tubas. Eminem and them boys gonna kiss it off every time. Emmett, them Southern boys, them Jackson boys. Shout out the mob. Yeah. 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 Them boys doing it. Yo, UFOs layered on top of everybody. That gets a 3, but like if that is everyone at their max, cool. Okay. I think this is coming out the drum break, the drum battle. One is trying to change it up a bit. Okay. Okay. Relatively hollow. Raheem gonna write the range tester. Raheem is gonna write the range tester every year. Every year. Every year he's gonna write it. Good counter melody to lead into that different phrase. The overtone. It keeps going. Just straight, just, oh my God. That bass drum accent that to accent that, yo, that's crazy. I remember when they played this during the stream, I just had to sit back because I'm like, all right, maybe Memphis comes out. You know, they had a really good song coming out the drum break. The pressure. Hey, you're not gonna outdo New Orleans at home. You're not gonna outcrank New Orleans at home. Dog. Shout out to Berga. I was in Crucial Conflict chat. He said they had 284 full strength. Okay. these are really strong and solid and full passages. I know this song specifically. This the Crackmon song of the battle. Doesn't make it any worse. Crackmon plays on a collegiate level. A1 run. It was just in the middle of the song, just kind of just the feel of it, the euphoria of it just wasn't smacking. 2.5. All right, Alicia. The song has made its rounds, with this potentially being the best audio of it. Mel's, I didn't like how directionless that lead in felt. Amazing overtime. Oh my god. With the step. This got 2011 Southern written all over it. Exposed upper register phrasing full section into an amazing red herring with the mellow. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is a masterful arrangement in my opinion. The only drawback to that song is that I felt like that is the worst that Mellows have sounded all night. That's the worst they've sounded, and that's also the least they've been written for all night. When it comes to those types of songs, like that is a very slow ballad that is like straight just power, balance of entropy going in and out of phrases, trying to make sure that your dynamic levels are resonant throughout the band, consistent, bringing out melodies to the front, right, and having very clear and effective voices to just sing and phrase throughout these parts in a very effective manner. And to be honest, unless you're doubling up or have a counter melody that for some reason in this Alicia Keys song is supposed to be heard just as much as the leading melody, which isn't the case in Diary. Mellows, sit back. This is a conversation between trumpets, trombones, and UFOs. Tubas are there as background support. Percussion, amazing job with fills and with feeling and with creating a level of, y'all hated me earlier in the fall for saying this, but atmosphere. It was amazing. I'm not gonna lie to you. And yes, you can, of course, nitpick some hollowness. They've hit 3 straight threes, by the way. I just now seen that in my sheet. You can pick out some hollowness or some parts where you may have wanted a little bit more direction or harsher tonguing, or more or less bending of the pitch. I chalk that up to and this is benefit of the doubt, but I also give the benefit of the doubt whenever it happens with Memphis, unless it's a part where I feel as though it is not supposed to be like that for a specific part, not an entire song, not an entire phrase. So my benefit of the doubt is going to be that that's an artistic choice in terms of having a specific sound that you want to come out of those UFOs, of it being a little bit more airy when you're playing a tenor call and response, basically, because that's a specific voicing decision that's dependent on not only the horn that you're selecting to have that call and response, but also the articulation that they're beginning each note with, and also how they're sustaining it. That's a type of direction that you can tell a section to play with, or wah za da da da, with a little bit harsher of a beginning note, beginning sound to the note or whatnot. All of it forms, all of it has direction. It just depends on, of course, what you think and agree with in terms of how it should be played, or the actual song itself, or your personal preference. But yeah, that gets a 3. That is a crazy run from New Orleans that they are on right now. Jesus. Oh my God. I did not know my scores would come out to this. I'll be honest. All right, Memphis. Round 7, I believe. 8? I wish I would have heard from once more. I think that's just mic placement. On that quick call and response, that quick, I didn't like how harsh UFOs were on that. It wasn't matching how Upper Brass was playing. There we go. Okay, drum break. This is an instance where I think the drum break is hurting them. This is the first, maybe second time tonight I think that's the case. But I've discussed at length sometimes how those drum or tuba breaks for Memphis and for Kennedy's Writing can destroy some momentum. And then just a general feeling of like a lack of conclusiveness, which can be intentional. It just doesn't feel satisfying. 2.5. Still really, really great execution. Once again, stylistic differences / changes. And then I hate that is the worst implementation of a drum break that they've had in a minute, and the most incomplete feeling song that they've played in a minute, and it's coming at arguably the worst time for them versus New Orleans, because I think I know what comes next as well. Yeah. Yeah, it's just mic placement, because that I know their woodwinds come out during that response. Y'all hear how this band is having a conversation with itself? Not in a jarring way. Natural. It's the same as last week. Same level of performance, same level of execution. You foes sounded more whole even. On that run specifically, that's what I was listening for them. Struggled a bit with it last week. No reason for the score to be different from last week. It's 3. They got 4 in a row. They got 4 in a row. Hold on, I want to hear that again. I want to make sure that I get what that pickup. Not as seamless as last week. I don't know if that's Mike. I don't know if it's... Yeah, they were in the stands last week. I don't know what it is. Might just be the setup in the stands. He fell off, but it was before the cutoff. Not as bad, not as bad. after a week to think about it, I do wish that for that ending, instead of hitting the tonight, da, 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 I wish he winded back up a little bit. And now I wonder. 1, 2. I don't know. That's just that's me and my brain of Muse score, I suppose, because I'm not putting it on paper. Can't. I don't know what I ended up giving it last week, but I'm gonna give that a 3. Everybody gets 1, and that was that trumpet slip off. Once again, before the note, so not as present. Before the cutoff, not as present. But I think the level of execution honestly took another step from last week. All right, New Orleans. I do believe this ended up being the last round because it said 10 rounds. It went to 9, but I think they counted the 2 drum rounds as a round. So. I said this in the stream. I'm gonna say it here. This is the most whatever song that they played. It's not crazy bad. Whether it's fatigue, I also fail to believe it's fatigue from New Orleans. I don't think they're truly excited to play. I don't think they put their all in this. Or they're being selective at the very least. Not bad, it's just more whatever than everything else they played. Mind you, they had 4 threes in a row to beat before this. So, high standard, I know. Yeah, that gets a 2. That gets a 2. That gets a 2. That's a whatever song. Now it's funny because they ended up cutting Alabama for this song, and then Burger just called the battle over. It's so funny. Alabama and Regulators, but Regulators was already going. I'm not gonna say y'all should have played this instead and just played this, because y'all might have called off that other song for the dancers or something, or shout out to the memorial. Rest in peace to Caleb Wilson. Them, as well as I know a lot of bandsmen in the state of Louisiana, in the culture, have dedicated this summer amongst a lot of memorial and memory in his honor, and rightfully so, gone entirely too soon. If they had played that, it would have been a 2.5. That beginning messed them up. Coming off the other song, that beginning they messed up that first note. That's important. All right, so what I was doing in that last round, sorry for the lack of commentary at the back end, very back end there, was adding up the scores, because today, in what essentially crowns, for me at the very least, the winner of the summer, we have a final score of New Orleans with 24 through 9 rounds. Insanity. Followed by Memphis with a score of 23. I have New Orleans winning, man. And that is with Memphis winning that last round with a whole point. Like, I gave them a 3, I gave New Orleans a 2. Look, man, New Orleans' wall of sound continuously and just forcefully, just all night, all battle, all 9 rounds was absolutely insane. Pressure, power, all of the above. For Memphis, very similarly, I definitely felt a lot of power from their play and from their arrangements and everything. Literally the only thing that holds it back, that held it back for this battle, is that I think that there were some decisions that were made that lacked some of the same sauce. But no, seriously, not sauce or anything. Some of it's wow factor. Some of it is balancing issues that came into play a little bit, that covered some of the clarity that I believe that their upper brass could have had and could have showcased a little bit more consistently. Beyond that, just some of the I will say, for people who were complaining, shorter holdouts from those trumpets, right? Even though they are written in the music and conducted, and they got shorter for even some of the same pieces that they played this week versus last week. And I don't know if it was the mic or if it is the size or for whatever reason, but those balancing issues definitely coming out in terms of, like I said, lack of clarity and me being able to hear, recognize, and distinctly point out trumpet melody. They didn't get covered a lot. Definitely not as clear as the other side. And even though, you know, it's definitely not as attempted or as often as New Orleans, when it is attempted, it's needed, and sometimes it's not heard. Beyond that, like I mentioned, there was some monotony. And some disappointment in the usage and of the placement of those drum breaks, breaking the momentum of a piece. Okay, I felt it, and I even felt it a little bit with 1,000 Miles, 100 Miles. Now, granted, still execution of that piece is amazing. I still love that they played it. Still love the way that they play it. But I could start to see it building a little bit in the songs that Mr. Kennedy was calling off. You can have a style. No one is denouncing a style. People were saying that I was denouncing or telling GAM not to play their style in some of my criticisms of them. It has nothing to do with a style. New Orleans played their style all night. They was cranking, they was up tempo, they was playing dancing tunes. It had a lot of upper brass passage melody that we see still replicated in bands like Talladega. It had a lot of call and response and clear the runway phrasing for upper brass within unison. That same motifs that New Orleans has been using for 15 years now. But they're also able to spice it up within the song, within the music, to where either it's not as apparent or it's not as jarring and potentially destructive to the song that you're trying to play. When it comes to some of those drum breaks, for example, those are things that are placed within a point in the song to where either the break isn't that long or the passage that you wrote beforehand included a build-up that needs a level of catharsis to be finalized, or that feels good as a transition to another part of the song instead of having this buffer period of basically reloading. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But beyond that, that's really the only critique. I mean, it's a one score game. I think that for especially that run, that post like drum battle run was insane from New Orleans, and just, yeah, Memphis not being able to topple that, or New Orleans not really slipping off of that, just, it didn't do them no favors, really. But beyond that, that's my opinion. Of course, all disagreements in the comment section below. Please leave a like on this video if you liked it. If not, understandable. There's more to come. We are going to get to Hum versus Dallas Legion next. That should be the next video on this channel, either coming out later the day that this is posted or the following day. So be on the lookout for that. Once again, thank you to Brian Glez. Thank you to Smash Time and Garrett Edgerson for the Marching Network stream on Facebook. Shout out to Beat a Show. They had a stream going on where for the first half they were in front of each band and gave a very clear point of sound. It was an amazing event. Shout out to Burgess, shout out to Bear, shout out to everyone who is part of putting on this production down in New Orleans. The Mecca of Bands is on top once again, according to me. So thank you for watching. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace and crank up.